Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Premier League weekend show on Football United TV. I'm joined by Matty and Talk, and Anthony will be joining us as soon as he gets back from his lovely day out on this beautiful Sunday. And it is a beautiful Sunday because obviously we are all Man United fans and we've just beaten Arsenal 3-1. We're going to delve into that game first and rewind and go backwards all the way to the first game on Saturday. But you know what's coming right now, ladies and gentlemen? It's the intro. Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Premier League weekend show. What a fantastic weekend it's been of football. Really good results over the weekend as well. We are going to discuss them, us three and Anthony at some point as well. Smash the like, share, subscribe if you can. And also during the show, we are going to be talking about who your favourite player of the weekend was. Get it in the comments if you can. We're going to give you our thoughts as well on who we think was. And we're going to start off with Talk MU because we are all bloody happy about this result. Clearly not Arsenal fans at the moment, but they did put in a great performance. Man United 3, Arsenal 1. Brilliant performance from Man United. Right, Talk, I'll let you take the stage, mate, because I know you're buzzing right now. You're just on a live watch along too. Shouts out to Football versus Cancer, mate. But yeah, tell us how you feeling.
Bro, I'm over the moon. Absolutely over the moon. A fantastic performance by the team. It really was. I talk about controlling the game and you know, the start of the game. The start of the game, I was like, whoa, this is quality. The way we moved the ball and the movement was fantastic. Absolutely sensational. But then not only that, we then managed the game. We managed the game really, really well. You know, we didn't fall into the trap of getting ourselves a bit dizzy and being pulled out of position by having the ball too much in their half, because that can happen when you're not too used to the system. And I think we handled that aspect of the game really well. And I think they had some chances. Obviously, they scored the one goal, but I think overall, I think we kept them quite. I won't say contained, but we kept them quiet. To be fair, they had some opportunities, but nothing sort of clear-cut quality chances. To be fair, and I think the man of the match. I'm going to say my man of the match right now before you even ask him. Christian Eriksen all day long. Christian Eriksen controlled.
He had a great performance, didn't he, mate? Yeah, he had a really, really good performance. I was quite impressed with him. Apart from the goal, maybe, Matt, that was the thing. Maybe apart from the goal that was just fouled.
Yeah, I get why he was disallowed. I think it was a bit of a soft foul, but it's still a foul technically. We've seen him given no end of times in the league over the past few seasons. The contact within the sport seems to be less and less and less. But look, I'm not going to complain. It's 3-1 against the league leaders, against the current pace setters in Arsenal. And they've been playing some good football. They're definitely a team on the way up. So it's a big result for us. And man of the match, that's to go to Rashi for me. 2 goals and an assist. Anthony Anastasia getting a goal. Big goal. That perfect start for him. I was slightly disappointed not to see Casemiro play, but look, I'm not going to question Eric. Whatever he chooses to do with the team, starting 11, he has my full backing. He knows a lot more about football than me.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I didn't really like the fact that Casemiro was on the bench. But, you know, at the same time, you got to go with the manager. He knows what he's doing. And it paid off, didn't it, Talk, at the end of the day? And Arsenal fans giving it the big in. I think they won't be giving it too much this week, will they? It'll be a bit quiet in North London, won't it?
Yeah, it will. And I get what Mike's saying there. But I was expecting to see Casemiro alongside Anthony. I was fully expecting Anthony to start. There's no two ways about that. But I thought also Scott McTominay had a great game as well. But I understand where Matthew's coming from with the man of the match for Rashford, because getting two goals was fantastic the way he took them. But I think just Christian Eriksen's what he did on that pitch, enabling him to have those goals was absolutely top draw. But there was just so many all-round great performances. I thought Malacia I think Malacia was. There's certain times he got a little bit caught by Saka. Saka had him a couple of times, but I think overall, I thought Malacia again was fantastic. Martinez was fantastic. It was just a great performance by the team, bro, and I'm just so pleased.
I am too. Have we got anything to say maybe about Arsenal's performance, like we said as well? Was it a little bit harsh? The mistake that Eriksen made, a little knock on the knee, maybe. I know they were discussing it in the.
That's a foul.
Right, I thought so too. I did, because at the end of the day, he didn't get the ball, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But Arsenal fans are already going on about the fact that it doesn't really matter. It's contact sport. You're allowed to touch up and go on to a player like that. But he knocked him over, and he definitely got his shoulder as well and leant on him. You can't put your hands on anybody's shoulders like that anyway, can you? So that's another point, I think. Any more to say on that, guys? I know you said your man of the matches you said Eriksen, right? Talk.
Yeah.
What did you say, Matt? Again, I forgot what you said there.
Rush.
I went for Rashford.
Right. Okay. Do you know what? I'm happy to say I'm going to choose Anthony, because I said I predicted that he'll get his debut goal, because we do tend to have a history of getting goals with debut players. So very happy about that. We got some comments. Big up to Josh. Big up, guys, here from WhatsApp. Thank you, mate. And Matt's here as well. Afternoon all. Here he is. Big up everyone on the show and in the chat. Bargav says lucky.
Bargav. Bargav's a bro. Bargav's a bro of ours, man. He goes back way back.
Give us a bit more. Yeah, give us a bit more, I think Talk's going to say, right?
Yeah, it's just Bargav, man. I feel for you right now, bro. But look, we were so much better. We were so much better.
He's going at you now. Look, Talk playing a dangerous game, hyping it up too much.
Come on, bro. You know how it rolls. We're Man United, bro. Come on. If anyone can big it up, it's Man United.
Exactly. We know Arsenal would be as well. You were chanting some serious stuff at 0-0. I did hear it in the crowd about being the best team in the world, and I just think that's died down now. I want to get Anthony on. He is in the comments. Bastardos. I'll say it in Spanish to make sure. Come on in, Anthony.
I think he's got on the missing list.
Yeah, he said he was going to come on, but he hasn't said anything since the result. So let's see if he's brave enough to come on and talk to us. So we've read that one. Boxes in the house. Arsenal laughing out. Arsenal at their best take. 3-1. You bastardos. Time to beat the top four teams now. We've beat the Gooners. Yeah, this is good for us, isn't it? The fact that we've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten Arsenal now, and I think that Arsenal was probably the tougher game over Liverpool, don't you think? Did this feel to you both that this was the game that was going to be a bit iffy?
Yeah. On current form in this season, Liverpool haven't really clicked. I mean, we know they had the result against Bournemouth 9-0, but look, apart from that, Liverpool have been really poor this season, and they've kind of dropped off a bit, which is quite surprising. I wasn't expecting it. But Arsenal, at the moment, they're currently out exceeding what I think the fans expected of them. And I think as fans of most clubs, if not all, the pace setters and that. So to beat them 3-1, quite comfortable, and that it's good marker for us and for where we are. I think we can beat Chelsea as well. I look at that Chelsea team this week. The only team in the league that realistically I look at and go, I don't think we could beat them, would probably be Man City. Apart from that, we can beat all the other teams. That's not to say they can't beat us, but at the moment, we're good enough to beat the 18 other teams.
I think this is the thing, Talk, isn't it? It's so open this season. You see how well Brighton are doing. We'll talk about them later on. Actually, the next game, sorry. But it's very open, isn't it? I think anyone can pinch it at the moment. City drop points as well. We'll talk about that too. But there's a good chance for United this season. It didn't quite look like it 3 or 4 weeks ago, did it, Talk?
Well, I just think, look, it is very, very early in the season yet, and also we do have to take into consideration there's a World Cup coming up, where a lot of these players have got their eye on that. So I think in a normal season where the World Cup would have happened in the summer, I think we would have had a different start to the season, in my opinion. I just think, players have got their eyes on the World Cup, except but yeah, it's not been the start of the season for the big teams that we would expect. So obviously, Man City have done okay. Arsenal were doing okay until today. Liverpool have they've kind of hit a bit of a stumbling block with that midfield and the loss of Mane. But again, this is the test of a great manager for Liverpool in Jurgen Klopp, if he can get them back up to get Liverpool are like a one-gear team. What I mean by that is, it's a really high gear, like a really big cog. When you're on a bike with a big cog, you try to pedal, and it's dead stiff. But the more you keep pedaling, it gets faster and faster and faster. That's what Liverpool are. So once they get up to speed, I think Liverpool will start to do some damage, I think, in the coming games. I'm not really going to write the Liverpool off just yet because they've got too much quality still.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Everything said on United and Arsenal, everybody, you good with that? We will ask Anthony when he comes out. We will go back to it when he comes in. We've got to, haven't we?
If he comes in.
If he does. He says he's going to, so he says the last couple of minutes he's going to come in, so let's see. Let's go on to Brighton 5, Leicester 2. What a result this was. I watched this earlier and I was listening into your watch-along talk. Amazing game from Brighton. I know Leicester were on the front foot, weren't they? I think they went up 1-0 in the first 52 seconds and it ends up being 5-2. Matt, what do you make of this result, mate? Brighton doing brilliantly, like selling a lot of players as well, or two of their best players, and still keeping momentum. It's Graham Potter, isn't it? Wizardry, magic.
Yeah, definitely. Brighton are a fantastic team, and Graham Potter, and I put this in our WhatsApp group earlier on. I said, pound for pound, Graham Potter has to be the best coach in England. You look at how little resources he has compared to the Klopps, the Guardiolas, Eric's, Mikel Arteta's, and some of the other coaches, and what he's doing with Brighton is just sensational. I mean, they sold off Bissouma in the summer for 25 million, and they've got a ready-made replacement in Moises Caicedo already. And you look at the performances he's getting from them and the results. I mean, this is the same Brighton team that put 4 past us as well. And you look at where they are, they're definitely within the top 4, top 5. I've not had the chance to look at the league since the Man United game. I know there was in the top 4 before then. So Brighton are doing Brighton things, and it's a fantastic club, fantastic coach, fantastic players, and they play some fantastic football. I was watching the game earlier on, and the passing and the movement was unreal. I mean, they can actually count themselves unlucky because McAllister scored an absolute rocket earlier, and it was disallowed by VAR for offside.
Yeah,
which I don't understand. As for Leicester, I'm not sure what they're doing. Their trajectory is downwards, and it's spiraling down quick. You look, they've not invested in the squad. They've lost Schumacher. There's a good chance they're going to lose Tielemans for free, or lose him in the summer for very little in January. I mean, they've lost Fofana. They've not put any money in. I think Leicester, Rodgers needs to walk away from Leicester. Also, I think Leicester need to actually start putting some money back into the squad. That squad is stale. It's old. It needs refreshing. It needs a good 2 to 3 bodies at least in there. I'm surprised the Leicester owner hasn't invested in it. I don't know why he hasn't, but you can see it's been detrimental to the squad and the players and how they're playing and the results. And I don't think Leicester will be relegated, but I think they'll struggle to finish top half this season.
Yeah, it's gonna be close, isn't it? I think they'll be down there at least, like kind of what Everton were doing last season. Talk, I'm going to ask you as well. What did you make of this result for Brighton? I think I agree with Matt as well. I don't know why they haven't recruited this season, Leicester, but apparently financial problems over the last couple of years has forced them back. What do you think, mate? And then I'm going to let the Arsenal fan in, and then we'll quickly go back to Man United and Arsenal and see what he says. But please.
Yeah, I agree with Matt. what you said there about Brighton. Brighton play some fantastic football. Graham Potter is a brilliant manager. Now, as it stands right now, that squad is a squad that's working with each other, working for each other, and more importantly, working for the manager, carrying out his instructions with faith and confidence that he knows what he's doing, and they trust him 100%. The only sort of bone I would throw in would be that if he was to be introduced to egos, could he have the same effect amongst ego players, i.e., an Arsenal or a Man United or, I don't know, what we would call a bigger club than Brighton at the moment? That's the only question mark I would have around Graham Potter. I'm not questioning his ability as a manager, not in the slightest, because he quite clearly knows what he's doing. But again, it's those, if he's introduced to any big players with egos and trying to balance then the sort of peaks and troughs of a dressing room, which he doesn't seem he has that problem at the moment. So props to him for that. The result in terms of Leicester, I mean, look, Leicester are flat on the floor at the moment. Brendan Rodgers has made it quite clear. I heard somebody say that it looked like Brendan Rodgers was trying to get himself sacked. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't know if he would go to that extent. I think he's quite clearly an unhappy manager at the moment, because he knows himself, Brendan Rodgers, he can get a much better tune if he had some more additions in his squad. So of course there's bound to be frustrations. He's a proud man. He's a proud manager. He's a good manager. Not a great manager, but he's a good manager. So I feel for Brendan Rodgers at the moment. And, all they can do now is try and pull together until January and see if the owners can put their hand in their pocket.
Yeah, completely agree, mate. I think they need to do that, especially in January as well, if they want to push on, because I think I agree with Matt and you that they will be in that relegation fight towards the end of the season. Let's bring in Anthony now. I wonder how he's feeling. I know he's wearing his Arsenal shirt as well. Very brave of you, sir. Welcome in, Anthony.
Oh, yeah, man. You all right?
I'm
just want to say,
how are you?
I hate Man United. Hate you.
Go on, tell us why. I'll put you on solo as well. You can have a little rant.
Let us have it. Come on.
Well, but do you know what? You obviously, fair enough. Anthony played well. He scored, obviously he scored your goal. Saka equalised 1-1, and then from there it just went downhill basically. The last goal that Man United scored, where was our defence? Absolutely shocking. There was the only defender that was there was the worst defender, in my opinion, that I feel that we've got, which is Ben White. So, he was the only guy there, and it was, in all fairness, he couldn't do nothing against himself, could he? He was just up there on his own defending. So I'm not going to sort of blame him to a certain extent, but blimey, it was just terrible. And I got to be honest with you, I've come back from the pub and I watched the game, right? And the pub that I went into was literally, there was more Man United fans in there than Arsenal.
Sorry, Anthony. You all right, bro?
Yeah, I'm all right. So we're still top, but trouble is though, it's like, well, I have said this. I have said this to people. In all fairness, I know that Arsenal's played well this season and that we're top of the league, but let's be honest, Arsenal hasn't been tested until today.
That's true.
And it's true. It's true. We haven't been tested. We've beaten poor teams, but they've scored. They've scored all against us. This was make or break for Arsenal, and it proves that the signings that you've done to compare to the signings that we've done is. I think Man United is a total different class now. I think Ten Hag has got you sorted now. He's got in the right players. I think the players are adjusting to his tactics and his philosophy, and I can see you being a bit of a threat this season. I had you down as 5th this season in the league.
Now what?
You're still 5th. But no, I think, to be honest with you, I think if you play like how you did today, you go into every game like that, you can finish top 4 without a doubt. Without a doubt.
That's fair enough. Got some things for you. Hey, panel from Static. Thank you, mate. Thank you for coming in. Charlie from Dugout Daily as well. Big up, lads.
Yo, Charlie.
Says, Arsenal play well and still lose. That was beyond pathetic. Well done, Man United. Arteta out. Wow, really? Arteta out? You won every single game from that one.
Yeah. No, I agree with Static. I totally agree with that. I wasn't Arteta in the first. I know he's trying to change things around, and obviously it takes time. But with the money that since he's been manager, the money that he's had to spend and the players he's got in, if he doesn't get the top 4 or win a trophy this season, in my opinion, he should be gone.
Yeah, but it could have been anyone's game today. It really was before the game 50-50. The way that Arsenal have been playing, and Arsenal were in it, and they could have been winning at one point, maybe, if that goal would have been allowed. And ours.
Yeah, the trouble is though, I think it was that foul on was it Ericsson?
Yeah.
Yes, but we said it was a foul, but I guess you're saying no.
Well, it's one of those. It's one of those you can either give or you don't give. To me, I thought it wasn't. It wasn't a strong foul. Like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't like a solid push or anything like that. But
it wasn't malicious or anything. Yeah,
it wasn't malicious or anything. No. So to be honest with you, but then again, you look at it, even if we did score that one, we would have still lost the game 3-2 anyway. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't agree that Arteta out. I think he's done fantastic, but that's different. The club.
No, not out of the minute. But I feel if he can't get top 4, or if he can't win a trophy this season, just one trophy, then he should be, because he's been given quite a lot of money to spend, Matt, since he's been in charge. So.
Yeah, but you were playing the most informed team other than yourselves, so it was one of those games where it was like winner takes all. Go out on your shield, and Arsenal gave it a good go, and it was unfortunate, I think.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think Martinez was absolutely. I thought Martinez was absolutely brilliant for you today. I mean, for to play a centre back at 5'9", he's the same. In all fairness, he's the same height as me.
Yeah, Baresi, he was only about 5'9", I think. Remember Baresi?
Yeah, Franco Baresi, yeah. But he's just, his advantages is on the floor. His tackling, he gets stuck in, he gets tackled, he can get tackles in. His passing of the ball is good. The only weakness he's got is up in the air. But, he's got other options that's good around him and that sort of thing. So, he is a good defender. And to be honest with you, I can understand why he's keeping Harry Maguire out the team now. I can understand that.
There you go. Look, this is great from an Arsenal fan. He's giving us all props, ladies and gentlemen. This is really good to hear. Hopefully it does continue. Some Arsenal fans are so reactionary. I can't believe you lot want Arteta gone. We got to move on to the next games. We have talked so much about this, and it is about Dugout Daily Charlie's team. Aston Villa won, Man City won. Not bad from Aston Villa. Unfortunate maybe to get a result out of this. Man City, I don't know what happened there. Haaland yet again playing so well, terrific player. Wish he was at United. I'm pretty sure every other club would take him as well. Matt, what did you make of this result, mate?
Well, I think Man City can count themselves lucky. I think first half they were better, but second half they really went at them, and that goal unfairly discharged offside when it was nowhere near offside. Coutinho. I have to say, Bailey's finish. Fantastic, and a fantastic bit of passage leading up to the goal as well. Truly emphatic. Villa have every right to be aggrieved with VAR, and we have to question VAR and what the use of it is. Over the weekend, we've seen some truly absurd decisions by VAR, and not so much the system, but the people using the system. And they've been absolutely shocking. And to sit there, and what you'll find now is they'll change the rules slightly to try and justify the decisions this weekend when it comes to VAR. And it's unfortunate we're having to talk about VAR on this game when it was a fantastic game by two really good teams. I think in a whole, draw's probably a fair result. Villa were the better team second half. Man City edged it first half. But the talking point is going to be VAR and the offside goal by Coutinho, which was unfairly dismissed.
Yeah, he clearly was onside. I have seen it back. What did you make of it as well? It's unfair for Aston Villa. I know Gerrard's having quite a rough time with the press and everybody else at the club because the clock is ticking, isn't it? He needs to get results, and this was unfortunately a result that he could have won, perhaps, like Matthew was saying. But at the end of the day, what can they do, mate? What can Aston Villa do after this result? I mean, it's a decent draw. I mean, you wouldn't have expected him to get a draw. So can he look at this and go, look, we didn't get the 3 points, but at least we got something and we can build on it?
100%. I think they performed exceptionally well, Aston Villa, for most parts of the game. Manchester City, yeah, you would have thought they could have created a lot more than they actually did. But I don't think. I think the pressure might have been a little bit on Gerrard before that match, but I think that's brought it back to equal. Now I think he's got a clean slate after coming up against the most devastating team, the most devastating striker, in the league. So I think it's going to come down to the next couple of games, I think, for Gerrard. If he slips back now and they lose again a couple of games, I think then that's where the patience will run out. Because he's got to... as a club, they've got to look at the results leading up to that, the money they spent, and then he goes and gets a draw against Man City. It's like, oh, okay, then. So yeah, okay, the team can react and perform to a certain level, but then if it switches off, there's going to be questions asked as to why is it switched off. You know what I mean? So I think it's a couple of big games coming up for Steven Gerrard. But Manchester City, I mean, why did he not bring Grealish on? 100 million quid sat on the bench. It's crazy.
It's weird, mate, isn't it? I don't get it. I mean, you'd have thought that Pep would have fancied the player. That's why he bought him. But yet he didn't have a good first season. And he's not really been played that much so far this season. So I don't get it. What's going to happen to him? Do you think maybe just be sold off? Didn't really work out like some of the signings that have happened in the past for Man City. Of course, we know like Jesus to be one of the examples.
No, I think because obviously the Champions League is going to be starting soon and the other cup competitions, I think that's where then we will see more of Jack Grealish. So I think, and also, we've got to look at this from Pep's point of view of he's brought in Alvarez and he's brought in Haaland. So, you start with what you think is going to work with Haaland, and it's paid dividends so far. So in Pep's mind, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to start changing things up too soon with this guy because he's a devastating striker. He could just win every game on his own, more or less. So I think a little bit of patience is needed from the City fans, especially in terms of whatever questions they're asking about their squad. Because as we know, Pep's probably the best manager in the world still at this moment. So it's a blip more than anything for Manchester City, I believe.
Yeah, it makes I think it makes the league more interesting. I know Pep's been coming out recently saying that he likes to go 1-0 down just to make the game more interesting. I don't know, he's kind of a bit crazy recently. I kind of like Pep. He's just some of the stuff he says, kind of like that's exactly how a fan feels about the game, and you kind of want that to be happening with the team you're managing. Like that's
actually, Matt. Do you know what you get? Do you know how I read that? What you just said, what he said. I see that as, and I might have said this on somewhere before. That in sometimes when you've got a team like Manchester City, when they are so kind of like, how should we say, the self-awareness of Manchester City is massive, right? And sometimes you need the other team to go in front so you can go, okay then, all right, yeah, let's have it then, let's have it, right? You know what I mean? You can't always come out 100% on fire every single game. So, whereas Liverpool, that's what they want to do. Liverpool, but again, like I said before, the differences between them two is Liverpool are just slowly winding their gear up. You know what I mean? Whereas City have got numerous gears. So, it's chalk and cheese, isn't it?
It is. I know Charlie's saying Jesus was a success. I'd say 50-50. I don't think he was that successful because at the end of the day, they sold him at a young age, and that doesn't... I don't know whether that's success. I think he will be successful now. He will have more success with Arsenal because he'll get more game time. He'll get more goals. I just don't think he suited the style that Pep Guardiola plays. I know that's strange because Arteta ruled under Guardiola, but at the same time, I think it's more fitting for Jesus to be at Arsenal. I think that's the only difference. Haaland's the kind of number 9 I think they've always been looking for, someone strong and big at the top. Anthony, what did you make of the result, mate, for Aston Villa? Like, I think I agree exactly what the Matt and Talk were saying.
Yeah, I can understand what they both were saying. They're both pretty well, they are both right. But in all fairness, you couldn't take anything away from this Aston Villa team, because obviously hence the scoreline is 1-0. I still think this game doesn't change anything. I feel that Steven Gerrard's job is under threat still. But even though he come out and they drew the game, but we got more games to play. Obviously this season, so I think depending on what Aston Villa does, I think they signed a good player in the end of the transfer window. That Dendoncker from Wolves, he's quite a good player, strong player, gets stuck in, good DM. But to be honest with you, he's got to change that team round. He's got to change it quickly because he needs wins, and Villa are desperate for wins, like winning games at the minute, and obviously they haven't done that. So they've got to start winning games. If not, Gerrard will be gone, basically.
Yeah, the clock's ticking on Gerrard, but I'm pretty sure the owners will be happy with a 1-1 result against Man City.
Yeah, they will be. Yeah, they will be.
So I just want to update everybody. Who was your favourite player of the weekend? Put it in the comments. We've had a few already as well, and we'll read them out at the end as well, and we'll discuss who our favourite players are of the weekend. Don't have to be too biased, don't have to be from your team. Let's move on to the next game then. It's Wolves 1, Southampton 0. Good result from Wolves. Unfortunate for Southampton. They've had a decent start recently. Wolves not so much, but they've got off to a great start against Southampton, getting 3 points as well. Matt, what did you make of this result?
It's a big result for Wolves. It's the first win of the season. Before that, they got a couple of draws and a loss. I've always said about Wolves, they're missing that clinical number 9 up front. I know they've just signed Sasa Krasic from Stuttgart for 18 million plus add-ons. I don't think he's going to be a difference maker, but it does give him a good option up top. For me, when it comes to Wolves, it's about the wide players in that midfield. You look at that midfield, Neves, Nunes, Moutinho, and then the wide forwards, Neto and Podence, they've got to start delivering a lot more. When you look at the quality that's in those positions, they're not delivering as much as what they should be. I mean, that's a fantastic midfield. For me, that's a top 6 midfield Wolves have got. And Neto's a fantastic young player, but I just think he lacks consistency when it comes to end product, same as Podence. Don't get me wrong, they've got the ability to beat a man, but it's what do you do after you've beat the man. Now, you've got to have an end product. I think Wolves are missing that from them. But as for this weekend, 1-0 win against Southampton, it kickstarts Wolves' season. It allows them to move on. And when you think Southampton had a good result against Chelsea, beating them 2-1, and that it's quite surprising they've lost this game. I think Wolves fans will be the much happier of the two. They've got a platform now to move forward and start getting some wins and moving up the league.
Yeah, I completely agree with Matt on that talk. What about you? Do you agree with that? It looked like Wolves were going to be in trouble this season, but they seem to always get themselves out of a little pickle, even when they lose some of their best players.
Yeah, I'm, to be honest, I thought I would have backed Southampton to get a result out of that game, just because, I think Hassan Hüttel's a good manager. We've got some good players there. Wolves, I don't know. Wolves are an unknown quantity for me. I think they're just kind of a little bit too hot and cold. And I think, I don't think it's going to be an easy season for them, if I'm honest. I understand what Mike's saying about some of the players that they've got. But, yeah, I don't know. I think, if I'm honest, I think Southampton will have a better season, as strange as that may sound. I think Southampton will actually have a better season than Wolves.
Yeah, I do. I you know what, Southampton, I just, like you, I thought that was them for the win easily, even though they're away. But at the same time, now the transfer window's shut, maybe it's just calmed down the teams. I know West Ham as well will probably think they're so glad to see the transfer deadline day over, because now everybody knows exactly where they're staying, etc. What do you think about this result, Anthony?
Well, to be honest with you, I had this game down. I thought it was going to be a draw because, I mean, both teams, to be honest with you, they've both blown hot and cold this season. I feel like, but it's like what Matt was saying. I mean, their midfield is Wolves' midfield is good, and it is like a top 6 or top 7 team. But to be honest with you, with this Wolves team, it reminds me of the old Wimbledon. It's what they call team spirit, and he seems to pull a win out the bag when you don't expect them to. So, I think that's what Wolves are going to play like this season. I mean, obviously, where they're going to finish this season, I feel it most probably be around about. I think around about maybe 11th or 12th, maybe Wolves. But I mean, they keep gelling on, they keep plugging away. They've sort of a few good players. They've got a few good players out the team, haven't they? But yeah, I just feel it's that team spirit they got, and that's what they've been doing. So they are gonna do well, like for the team that they've got, But yeah, I think they'll be right this season, Wolves. But Southampton, same again. They blow hot and cold. I think they can win. They're capable of winning. Beating maybe a top 6 team, maybe. But it's just the way how that is. They've got a bit of team spirit in there, and their manager. I mean, obviously, out the two, I do favour Southampton because I think they got the better manager. But it's all these lower teams is coming up, and they're playing well against the top teams. And it's too hard at the minute to think, well, who's going to be a relegated team? I mean, the only one that I can pick out this season is Bournemouth. I think they're the ones that would definitely be relegated. But apart from,
Well, they've got a little shock result, haven't they, this weekend? We will talk about that, but
yeah, they did, yeah. But it's obviously it's too early to tell at the minute. But I would tip obviously Bournemouth to go down. So
yeah. Who was your favourite player of the weekend? Everybody that's watching right now, smash the like, share, subscribe if you can. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know who your favourite player of the weekend is, and everybody in the panel will tell us at the end and we'll discuss it. Let's move on to the next game then. It was Spurs 2, Fulham 1. Spurs still keeping momentum at the moment, pushing up the table as well. Fulham unfortunate, I think, here, Matt. Trying to get at least a point out of this, and unfortunate not to. And Mitrovic has been having a great season so far as well. What did you make of the result, mate?
It's a big result for Spurs because they didn't play that well. To be fair, I watched the game. I thought Spurs, for the players that they've got, were rather underwhelming. And Fulham actually had a half-decent game. Fulham can consider themselves unlucky to not get anything out of it. Mitrovic is back in the league. I think he understands the league this time around. When he first come, he'd never played here before, and I think it took him a tad bit by surprise. And obviously, he's gone to the Championship, absolutely destroyed in the Championship. He's full of confidence. He's come back into the league, and he's kind of picked up where we left off. Spurs, classic Conte result. This play poorly, but get the result. Kind of expected as well. But for Spurs, for where their fans have said that they're going to be this season, they should be looking to win these games anyway. So, no, they have to look at this, go, yeah, that's 3 points in the bag we've got, even before the ball's kicked. Especially when you look at Conte and the serious expectations of him, especially with how much he spent. So I kind of expected this result from Tottenham, to be fair.
Yeah, you know what? I did too, Matt. I think I did too. I just didn't think it would be as close. I thought maybe a 3-0 or 2-0. Fulham at least getting a goal, consolation and O'Toole. But what did you make of the game for Spurs? And do you think Fulham are a club that will potentially be in and around the relegation battle zone?
Spurs, yeah, I expected the results, to be honest. I just think just talk about levels. There's levels here to these two teams, both on the pitch and the guy who stands at the side of the pitch in the manager. You know what I mean? So it was never in doubt for me, the result. And Spurs are just, Spurs are a very hard-working team. They want to move the ball forward as quickly as they can. And Fulham, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about Fulham. I think they will struggle alongside Nottingham Forest, if I'm honest. So I think for me, the most definite nailed on to go down is Nottingham Forest all day long. Unfortunately, I just think the amount of players they've brought in is ridiculous, which we'll talk about later. But Fulham, I think they will be in trouble at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think so. I think Fulham are in a I mean, we were talking about this, Anthony, a minute ago, aren't we? Do you think Fulham are the ones that might potentially go down? Or you think they got a chance here?
You know what? The way things are going at the minute, they're playing. I think they might have a chance to survive. I mean, just avoid the drop. The main key to Fulham is Mitrovic, the striker they've got. If he's injured, they've got no one else there to score goals for him. Basically, they've got no one there to score because he's scoring goals. And whether they're winning, drawing, and losing games, he seems to be scoring in every game at the minute. So it's down to if they can keep him pretty much injury free throughout the season. That's the only chance they're going to have to stay up. And that's my opinion of Fulham. If he is going to get injured, he's out for a certain amount of time, Fulham will struggle.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, moving on to the next game then, ladies and gentlemen. We've only got about under 20 minutes left. So we're not talking about the 0-0s, by the way. So don't worry, don't panic. We're not going to be talking about the 0-0 results, and there are 2 coming up. So we got 3 more games to talk about. Perfect. Nottingham Forest 2, Bournemouth 3. Brilliant game. I watched this match of the day as well. Surprised that Forest didn't get anything out of this. 21 players bringing them into the club. I've never heard of that in my life. I don't know how that works. That's pretty much 2 teams that you bought. But what did you make of the result, Matty? Good for Bournemouth, seeing as they got rid of Scotty Parker recently, and they need this win, don't they? Every single win or point you can get when you're one of the teams that can potentially go down is good.
Yeah, definitely. Bournemouth, big result, big win, especially as I think went 2-0 down in this game, if I'm not mistaken. To come back and win 3-2, coming off the back of the manager being sacked and losing 9-0 against Liverpool, they needed this more than any other team needed a result this weekend. Big result. It should give them confidence. I still think they'll go down. I look at the overall quality of that Bournemouth squad. I don't think it's good enough to stay up. It's essentially a championship team still in the Premier League. But I've got to give them their due this to come back from 2-0 down and beat Forest. Now, after losing 9-0, the play after you lose, you're annoyed. But when you lose 9-0, you're going to be deflated. You're going to have no confidence going into the game. So to come back and do it takes a lot of character, and to show that Forest. You've just said they brought in 20-odd players. I think it's Steve Cook, the Forest manager. He's got a big job now because he's got to find the perfect balance between bringing all them players in and squad harmony. I mean, keeping 20-odd players happy isn't going to be easy. And it's also about finding out your strongest starting 11 out of them players. There's going to be a lot of chopping and changing. And I think that could be detrimental in certain games. Because if you're constantly changing them, you ain't going to. The players ain't going to build up relationships with the teammates in and around them, and I think that's way too many players. I think a good window would have been 6, 7, maybe 8 players for a Forest who were good quality. I think it's just gone for quantity, and I think that'll be detrimental. I think Forest will struggle this season simply because the squad's going to be so imbalanced.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Tal. What do you think? And obviously, Forest were up 2-0 and Bournemouth turned it around, which is absolutely amazing after what they've had to go through recently.
Yeah, I mean, losing 9-0 to Liverpool, was quite a shock to them as a team, I'm sure. However, this is what I'm getting at when it comes to Nottingham Forest, is that, the manager there for Forest, he's brought all these players in, he's gone out splashing the cash, and he's obviously took his eye off the ball in terms of what to expect from Bournemouth. You're talking about a team here that has spent more time in the Premier League than Forest have, and just being slapped up like that by, obviously, all right, the most devastating attacking team, we would say, in Liverpool. He's got to be prepared. You've got to be prepared for that. And I would have expected Forest to be able to see this, to get, at least minimum get a draw out of this. But again, to get beat off a team when you know what's coming, they're going to be coming with that mindset of we've got to get a result. That's where you earn your dough as a manager. He's preparing your team, and again, he's failed. So I just stick to what I said. I think Bournemouth, Forest, and Fulham. That's really, I think, your three that are going to be looking in serious trouble.
I just want to jump in here because static panel, I'm off. I will not be disrespected by anyone for having a different opinion. Take care. I think this is from Charlie saying he can't believe people want Arteta gone. Look, these are just two different opinions. I think Charlie finds it strange. I do too. I respect everybody's opinion. Of course, if you're an Arsenal fan, you see it differently. So your opinion is respected, Static. It is. I just think generally Charlie doesn't see what you see. And maybe you can get together on Twitter or something and have a little chat about it. But of course, it is all about opinions. That's the main thing here. Let's move on then. I want to ask Anthony about this game. Of course, we're not going to talk about Newcastle and Crystal Palace because it was 0-0, like me and Matt were saying before the stream. It was rather boring. So we'll move straight on to Chelsea 2, West Ham 1. Anthony, fire away, mate. Chelsea lucky to get this win. I think West Ham were unfortunate because they probably played a bit better from what I saw.
Yeah, I feel sorry for West Ham. Obviously, losing the game, it should have been a draw. The goal, or the penalty decision, or whatever it was, is apparently has been looked into now. So I don't know what the total outcome of it is, but what they're going to do with it, I don't know. But to be honest with you, I really felt sorry for West Ham because I was watching the game as well, and to be honest with you, I thought West Ham were a better team, like what you said, Matt. I felt it's like what I said. I feel sorry for them. They should have come out of this game with a point, obviously, and but. You just got to feel sorry for them, and and I feel sorry for any West Ham fans out there because if I was a West Ham fan, personally myself, I wouldn't be too happy with this decision. But I mean, at the end of the day, what can you do? The referee has the final decision. VAR has looked into this as well. I think if I remember correctly, I don't know, don't quote me on this, but on Match of the Day last night, I believe that Alan Shearer said something about the VAR and how sometimes it ruins the game. I think he quoted that last night on Match of the Day. So that's another quotation that I could see what Alan Shearer was coming from and what he was saying, to be honest with you. I'm not really a fan of VAR, and I think every now and then the decisions do, not all decisions, but some of the decisions, it does ruin a beautiful game of football, to be honest with you, in my opinion. But and that's it really. That's all you can say on it. But yeah, I totally feel sorry for West Ham, 100%.
I think you're on mute, Matt.
Can't hear, Matt.
Sorry, I'm here. Okay, calm, relax. Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me? Yeah. Matt, yeah. What did you agree with Anthony on that as well? The fact that VAR might ruin games at the moment. We've seen a couple of decisions this weekend, and there's another one in this game too. West Ham were unfortunate, weren't they? I think.
Yeah, definitely. Very unfortunate. They deserved the draw. Chelsea got very lucky. Talking of VAR again, we spoke about it earlier in the Man City Villa match. Speaking about it again now, it's not actually VAR. It's the second referee in the VAR booth, and I think the problem is each of these refs have a different interpretation of what the rules are. There's no set definition or clarification on what the rule is. So the refs are kind of interpreting it in their own little ways, and they're all interpreting it differently from what it actually is. It's a very grey area, these rules now. And with VAR, it's not helping these referees. They're still making mistakes, but people are still blaming VAR per se. And you have to look at the referee that's using the VAR system in the booth, and also the referee that's on the pitch. I think the FA need to go back to basics, go VAR, these are the rules, and just clarify what the rules are, because at the moment, the refs don't understand what the rules are, and we've seen some truly absurd decisions again, and it's cost West Ham. I mean, West Ham were the better team in this game. Chelsea nicked this win. I mean, the foul that Bowen supposedly done on Mendy, it's never a foul, not in a million years, and that goal was wrongly ruled out, and West Ham can definitely feel aggrieved about losing 2 points. And I seen Moyes' interview, he wasn't too happy with it, and I fully get where he's coming from. I think if you have that decision go against you, you're definitely going to be aggrieved over the weekend, and about the whole VAR and the system and the referees and how it's all done. And it's unfortunate because it takes it away from the performance of West Ham. They're a fantastic team and they're putting a fantastic performance, and they should have got something.
Yeah.
And Chelsea, once again, got lucky, but I think Chelsea are going to struggle this season. I look at that team and it's still a very weak team. I still think they're 3 or 4 players short of doing anything.
Yep, completely agree. And I move on as well because we haven't got very long left talk. So I want you to kick off the last game that we're going to be talking about pretty much, because Liverpool and Everton was a 0-0. Brentford 5, Leeds 2, mate. What did you think of this result for Brentford? Smashing it, aren't they? We were saying last week as well about Leeds and how well they've done so far. Jesse Marsh making some changes, and we're seeing a different adapt in Leeds, but couldn't really get off the mark in this one, mate, could they?
No. But before I get into that, I just want to quickly say the reason why they're looking into the VAR in both games, Newcastle and West Ham, is because they've got to make VAR fit for purpose. Because it is, as it stands, it is not fit for purpose. So I fully expect them to overturn, especially the West Ham goal, and give the goal to West Ham and let it stand, and that result will become a 2-2, in my opinion. Otherwise, it's not going to. It's not fit for purpose.
No.
They've got to overturn that result in order to make a point in the VAR. But in terms of this game, Brentford 5, Leeds. I said it the other week. Leeds are not too dissimilar, really, in certain aspects of the way they play to what Bielsa was doing. They're still a little bit chaotic and a little bit all over the shop. And I do fear for Leeds as well. But I don't think they'll get relegated. I don't think they're in that danger. I think they've got enough when it comes to the other teams. They'll forget the top 6. I think the rest of the teams, I think there's enough there for Leeds to bounce back and get results in, and to keep it enough to stay up. Brentford, again, I've always said about Brentford, I like Thomas Frank, even when he came out moaning about us that time when we beat him. I think he's a good manager. They do a little bit of everything and do it well, all aspects of the game, Brentford. And, Ivan Toney with it bagging a hat-trick. Stop the draw because he's in my fantasy football team.
Brilliant goal, wasn't it, when he chipped the keeper, wasn't it? The defenders, chipped the defenders, wasn't it? Brilliant. Anthony, what did you make of the result as well? I mean, Brentford getting off the mark. King Tony, as they call him, the fans, getting the crown for the hat-trick.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I was watching it on the Sky Sports News, obviously all the goals coming in as well. So, this scoreline was actually unbelievable. I think it was an hat-trick in the first, was it the first 30 minutes or something like that, if I'm not mistaken? And I just think he's a brilliant player. I've always liked him. He's a player that can obviously, as we know, can score goals. I'm surprised some of the top teams that haven't snapped him up, basically. A top 6 team hadn't snapped him up. But, I think he's what, 28, 29 now. But, yeah, he's a good player, and he's it's the same, same thing as Fulham, basically. If he was injured or anything like that, you think where's Brentford going to get their goals from? You got to be realistic on this. So, but yeah, good result for Brentford, scoring 5 past Leeds. I mean, it was only a couple of weeks ago they beat Chelsea 3-0. So it was good all round, and Brentford fans will obviously be happy with that. So big up to them.
I think so. You agree with that, Matt, as well? I mean, they did just beat Chelsea recently, and then they get a smashing by Brentford. So you don't know about this season, do you? Anything can happen.
Anything can happen and will happen. It's a fantastic result for Brentford, but let's not forget this Brentford team put 4 past Man United as well. They've got a very good coach in Thomas Frank and they've got some decent players. Ivan Toney is a fantastic player. I think the reason the big 6 teams weren't looking at him is I just think it's purely a price tag issue. I think you're looking at 60, 70, maybe 80 mil for him. Brentford don't really need the money because of how much money is in English football in general, and he's a prized asset, so they're not going to sell him off cheaply. So it would be a very hard player to sit there and get out of Brentford, unless it was a player that actively forced to move out of there in the same way Anthony did at Ajax. But even then, it's still going to cost a fair bit. But he's a fantastic player. Good result for Brentford. Quite surprising for Leeds. I wasn't expecting them to get beaten as bad as they did. I mean, I thought this game would have been a draw. I did not see a 5-2 coming. I mean, it's quite surprising. Leeds that had a fantastic result against Chelsea a couple of weeks ago, beating them 3-0 quite comfortably. Since then, they've not really been at the paces that much for some reason. They're kind of, I don't want to say falling away, but they're slipping very slowly.
Yeah, they might be in the relegation battles as well, mightn't they, Leeds? At the end of the day, it's a bit flippant, isn't it? Everton 0 and Liverpool 0. We won't talk about that because we don't really want to talk about 0-0s, and we don't really want to talk about Liverpool, some of us. So I'm a little bit unbiased there. Sorry for that. So your Premier League weekend player, who is your favourite player of the weekend? Everybody in the comments. We have had a few already in the comments. Let me just read out. Actually, we only had one. It was from Nakalima Medina, and they say Marcus Rashford. So Marcus Rashford. So we're going to go around, tell us everybody where they can find you. Thank you so much for joining us today for Premier League Weekend Show. And before you can tell everybody where they can find you on social media, who was your player of the weekend? And you don't have to be too biased to your team. You can pick somebody else, but let's start with you, Matty. Thank you for coming on to our show, mate. It means so much.
Now, first of all, I want to say a big thank you to you, Matt, for having me on the show. My player of the weekend, it has to be my boy Marcus. 2 goals and an assist, big game, big performance. It shows he's coming back into form. I think under Ten Hag, he'll come back and he'll do bits. I think it's also got the platform now to kick on. We know what he can do. He showed it this game today against Arsenal. Yeah, he's got to continue this form now.
Brilliant, Matt. Where can everybody find you as well, mate?
Yeah, but you can find me on Twitter. I'll just get you my Twitter handle now. At Matthew3638031. I will be changing it soon enough, though. But once I do, I'll let you all know.
Brilliant. Thank you, mate.
Sorry, Matty. I did say on the takeaway, bro. You got to sort it out, bro.
Yeah.
He'll get it. He'll get it.
As soon as I figure out how to change it, I'm going to be changing it.
Yeah, man. Good on you, man.
Thank you, Matty. Anthony, mate, who's your player of the weekend and where can everybody find you, mate? Thank you so much for coming on.
That's okay, Matt. I was going to pick between either Marcus Rashford or Ivan Toney. I think I'll pick Ivan Toney because Rashford's goals was against my team, so I'm not going to pick him. I thought he did he's brilliant, played well, scored a hat-trick against Leeds in the first 30 minutes of the game. So, obviously, Ivan Toney gets my vote. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at my name at Anthony Herbert. You can also find me on SVP TV and Football United TV.
Thank you, Anthony, for coming on once again, mate, and we will see you again next weekend. Talk MU. Who was your player of the weekend, mate, and where can everybody find you? Thank you so much for coming on once again.
Oh, thanks for having me, bro. I always appreciate you asking me to come on. I love the channel. Love what you do. You're a great guy. You and Marley when he's around. Player of the weekend. It's got to be Christian Eriksen for that performance today. It was, and I kind of feel bad not giving Marcus Rashford loads of props, but this is why. The reason why is because I know that's what Marcus Rashford can do. So am I surprised by his performance? No. But Christian Eriksen, you know, considering what he's been through and everything else, to come out with a performance like that was just quite amazing. And so for me, it goes to him. And you can find me on Twitter at iTalkMU. Find me on the Man United Agenda, obviously, and you will find me at Football versus Cancer. Thank you.
Brilliant. Yeah, go check out Football versus Cancer. Doing some brilliant stuff recently. Live watch-alongs for a lot of Premier League games. So if you want to recap on that, please go check out Football versus Cancer. That's Talk's channel, charity channel as well. Brilliant. Please go support if you can. Right. That's it. We'll end off now. I'll take you off solo. Sorry there. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Smash like, share, subscribe if you can. We will be back tomorrow with Football Politics Show and La Ligue des Champions opening show, talking about the groups and where we think people may finish off. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your Sundays, and we will see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.